Is a case study of a successful young perfectionist who is unhappy with his life because he is constantly insecure, manipulative, and people pleaser. So, how did it all start? He had pretty strict mother who was in moments warm, and in other moments her narcissistic traits were punishing him. She was easy to punish and criticize. So when he was young, she could be pretty cold and unpredictable. And so he, as a kid, started recognizing the slightest movements, eye movements, sounds, her steps, everything considering his mother, so he could protect himself. So this led to development of supersensory brain functions, for instance, like Daredevil, Matt Murdock from Marvel, and he could practically manipulate whatever she wanted in a moment to not be rejected or abandoned or be emotionally blackmailed. So he was trying to be the best he could. He was always playing cute and vulnerable and so on, whatever she needed. And she was starting to regulate, her emotions. And adults should regulate child's emotions, but it happened the other way around. So he learned to manipulate people and became people pleaser, who could basically always read what other people want. But he was always in alert and anxious because of this. Never had peace, never had self-confidence, because he was dependent on other people's feedback and excellence in everything he did. So he was unhappy and he wanted to stop this manipulation. And the other thing, he couldn't stand feedback, because even slightest negative observations from his surrounding were crushing his self-esteem. So he tried to bribe people who were giving him negative feedback, and his narcissism wanted to have everybody adore him. So this is a case of inverse narcissism, and this led to this imposter syndrome, because in smallest amounts of skills he lacked, he was trying to hide and manipulate others to think he knew. So this is why he felt like an imposter. So what is the conclusion? His mother created this picture of the world as cold or emotionally blackmailing, dangerous place where he needs to survive. And also it created his brain's way to create self-image through feedback from a mother, that she was a god who has the power to end his existence. So he didn't have self-regulation of his self-image. So is this his mother's fault? Well, he had another sibling who didn't develop in that way. Why? Because his genes, he was vulnerable to this kind of personality development. So his sister could recognize more positive cues from mother, like smile, and she interpreted her reactions in a more positive way, because she was more sensitive to positive cues for environment and not negative self-protective cues. So if its genes are starting this spiral of our development into who we are today.